Alright, guys. We're sitting outside just giving you all our review of season 2, episode 1 of
This is us, and it's called.
A Father's Advice.
I forgot that quick. I'm nervous. A father's
A
advice.
Father's Advice. Alright, so
Wait, who are you?
I'm not your father. My name is Tia,
And I'm Takiera.
and we're just going to do some reviews of season 2. So
Episode 1.
if you've been watching This Is Us, it's a pretty banging show. A lot of good values, a lot of good laughs, cries.
And written very, very well. It's so relatable to like probably anybody in life from different backgrounds and stuff. I think everybody can relate to it.
I believe they can too. So season 2, episode 1.
So it starts off like. How did it start off?
It starts off when they're having their birthday party, and that's what I liked about it, because season 2 started like season 1 started, with like them celebrating their 36th birthday. So now it started out
right.
with them celebrating their 37th birthday, and it's showing like the differences, because you saw how they were then and where they are like a year later, and you can see the differences. Like with Kate, she was by herself trying to keep from eating too much. She would have all like the labels on her food and everything. This go around, she got Toby with her, so that
And
showed.
did he lose weight?
He did. He did lose some.
But I heard that he had a fat suit. Did you tell me that?
Mm.
Somebody said he had a fat suit on the other seasons. I don't know if that's true or not. I thought you told me that. But and he got the little facial hair going on and stuff. He looked good, but he came off like all irritated and stuff.
But,
Well, we used to him being like this funny person.
yeah, but he's irritated because
He's trying to be, Kate's man,
yeah.
but her brother is like in the way because they have like that twin bond or whatever, and I guess it's a little jealousy there, which is understandable. Would you say it's jealousy?
Yeah, it's like partial jealousy. Well, ain't no partial jealousy. It's jealousy. He wants to take care of her.
Right.
And who else? Kevin, he's doing the show now with, what's his name? I can't think of the guy's name. Play Opie when he was younger. But he's doing a show now, so he looks like he's in California. And I think that's where Kate is too, in California.
Okay.
So wherever.
Yeah, because they were supposed to do like a date or something together, right?
Yeah, but old girl didn't make it. But she did make it.
At the end, she surprised them.
Yeah.
So anyway, we all over the place. So okay, it started off and then with Kevin and then with Randall jogging, or no, not even jogging. He had the baby up. So it ended with him saying that he wanted to adopt last season. So by him having like the Asian baby up, I'm like, oh, he adopted a little baby, a little Asian, little cute little baby. And then come to find out it wasn't his. So
It was the neighbors.
and they like, can we have our baby back? And he like, oh, okay, I'll give it back. But they like, nah, give us our baby back.
Yeah. So.
My baby back, baby back, Rich.
So yeah, because that kind of threw you off because you thought that he had adopted, and that's kind of weird too, because even though he talked with his wife about adoption, I think because he was going kind of hard on it and really wanted to adopt, he was just going for what he wanted, and it seemed like it was kind of like one-sided, like what he wanted, but he didn't really look at what she wanted as well. And that's why she kind of had that moment at the adoption place,
Right.
because it was kind of like, oh, it's what he wants, I think. So
Yeah.
so that's how it started.
Well, how did it go from there? And it was good because I guess the like burning question is, how did the father die? And they
Yeah.
still didn't tell us all the way, but we got like a big clue
I did.
this time
Yeah.
because we saw like the burning house, so it looks like did he die in the burning house fire?
It's hard to say.
All right, so Let's start with Kate.
Kate.
Her whole storyline. She was trying to audition for.
To become like a singer?
Yeah.
Or something? Yeah, so she tried on the outfit. She asked Toby how it looked. Toby told her how she looked. But then, and you know, they was getting to get all hot and bothered and happy.
And who coming in messing everything up?
Boom, Kevin.
He like, Kevin, I gave you that key for emergencies.
He's like, I almost hate I gave you that key for emergencies.
He was so mad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Kevin, because he just got through telling her how the outfit looked good, and then he like, but are you doing too much? Kevin's like, are you doing too much? She's like, no, she's fine or whatever. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go change. He's like so mad.
Yeah, that's because she's going off of her, but she's used to having her brother. So having a man in her life other than her father or her brothers is, you know, is kind of new for her. So it's a little different. So right. I get that.
So that's the adjustment that I don't know. She would have to make.
So then she ended up changing her clothes. And let's see. So Kevin, they sung Happy Birthday to him on set. And I almost forgot Randall quit work last season.
Oh yeah.
Because the girls were like, it's almost weird.
Right.
Mommy's going to work and you stay at home. All right.
And we're back.
We're back. Got a little bit of
interruption for a second.
All
right, so for a second, girl, it's the wine. So look, back to Kate. So basically, she went out for the audition or whatever, and then she got scared.
Yeah. No, she didn't really get scared. She got deterred because all the little skinny chicks in there, and she was just looking at how they were small. And then it took it back to last season where she was at the pool and the girls wrote her a note and they called her like a pig or something, and they all walked off without her. So she kind of went back to that, and
which is so true because like I know for me, and I'm pretty sure other people too, even though like you're an adult and everything now, like I'm an adult now, it's still things from my childhood that still mess with me even though I'm like an adult. And it's like certain things can happen, it'll trigger something that happened back that bothered me when I was a kid, but I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so that's what made her go away, was the fact that she looked at all the girls that were smaller and she already had in her mind, they're not going to pick me because I'm big. Not even looking at you know, the voice that she had. And truthfully, she did not put her all into singing, because Kate can sing and she did not put her all into singing. I can tell you that.
No, but she need to practice. Yeah. But even if she put her all, she could not sing better than that chick.
The other girl that was back up?
Yeah. You ain't like her voice? I love powerful voices. Her voice was so powerful.
She kind of was like a like a whine.
Man, her voice was good. Right. That chick can sing. That's why when she started singing, I was like, whoa, because. But then he was like, she was a background singer. Look at her face. Yeah. You think Kate sing better than her?
Kate, if she really would like blow, I mean, really let go, she has the quality in her voice.
Well, she did sing last season. She did sound good when she was singing at the retirement homes or something.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, she went back in there to sing, basically. Well, first, before we get to that part, she was like, well, she left because, like you were saying, she saw the other skinny girls or whatever, and it bothered her. Mm-hmm. So then she went back, and I think Toby was like, right? Toby, yeah. He was asking her about it, and she was like, "Oh, it was okay," or whatever, like lying.
Yeah.
But she had told her brother the whole time or whatever, and that's another thing that made Toby upset, because he was just like, you told him and you ain't tell me. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
And I could see that, because if we're together, then how is it you can't tell me first, but you can tell your brother? Again, that kind of goes back to, she has to really get used to, you know, I guess you could, even though they're not married, to like prioritize, you know, if this is your man, let your man know, you know, let him know first, then you
right, you make him feel all left out. And it's not saying like, stop talking to your brother or whatever. But she needs that balance right now. But she's not used to that because she's never. I don't know if she's ever like been in like a serious like relationship before. So she's gonna have to learn that.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a work in progress. So.
Yeah.
Then he was upset about that, and I think him and Kevin got to arguing outside and stuff. And she was like, "What did she come out there and
She
say?"
doesn't need to be cuddled or romanced or something. I don't think it was.
Yeah, and then Toby was mad too because he booked the restaurant out just for them.
Yeah.
And he wanted to sit across from her or next to her.
Yeah, he wanted to sit across. No, he said he wanted to sit across from her next to her on her lap.
Oh yeah, he was so dumb.
But I get it. He was, he's frustrated because he's competing with her brother.
Right.
And really, her brother and her deceased father, if you think about it, because she talks about her father, a lot. So
yeah,
he got some big shoes to fill.
So I guess they got to arguing outside or whatever. She ended up going back, and I think it was over. They were like, sorry, auditions are over or whatever. And she was like, I guess she was like, what did she say to them? Please just give me a chance or whatever. He was like, go ahead and sing. She sung or whatever. And I'm like, oh, she about to get him. So they about to be like, oh, we're so glad that we're going to pick you. No. He's like, okay, thank you.
He was like, wah, wah, wah.
Dang. So then she walked out. Well, started to walk out, turned back on. She was like, no, I am not going to let you pick some other chick just because she's smaller than me and all this stuff or whatever. And he was like, he walked up to her, called the girl over there, told her to sing. She sung. And she had a powerful voice, even though she disagrees. That girl can blow.
She didn't have a powerful voice.
Yeah, and so that's when he was like, he said, I don't care about your size. It has nothing to do with that. And she's the background singer. I'm like, well, what the lead singer sound like that? She went
from lead to background. And the fact that she had a powerful voice. But that, like he said, you just don't have. I can't remember his exact words, but he
told her to
basically
work
said,
on it.
"Yeah, you need to work on it. You lack."
And she wasn't. And what made it good was she wasn't even upset about it or whatever. She was just like, at least it wasn't because of my size or whatever. I'm going to work on it.
Yeah, and I think she needed to hear that so that she knew that. Okay, so
and
it's
she
not
lost weight too. I didn't mention that. I mentioned Toby.
Yeah, she did lose some weight.
I'm glad to see Toby all healthy. And stuff. Cause last season when he fell.
Yeah, man, he face planted on that too.
Ooh, he fell hard too. That was rough.
Yeah.
But alright, so that was basically Kate's whole story, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Storyline. So on to what was Kevin?
Kevin was just a floater. He didn't really have too much.
Yeah. What's his girl? His ex-wife name? Sophie.
Sophie. Yeah, Sophie.
And it's crazy how he's been. That's like his soulmate for real ever since he was like a kid.
Yeah.
And they were married. We found out last season that they were married. We didn't even know Kevin was married before last season.
Yeah, he was married. They were divorced, right?
Yeah, they're divorced or whatever. But it seemed like
he's trying to get back with her.
Like that is just the one for him or whatever. So she couldn't come for his birthday, but she ended up surprising him at the end.
Yeah, she couldn't come because her mother had gotten sick. Her mother has MS.
Yeah. So, isn't that what Montel Williams has?
Yeah. So Kevin really didn't have too much in the story.
But Randall. So we mentioned how we thought he was adopting the baby, but come to find out it was his neighbors. Then they went to the adoption place, and then even like when he was in the kitchen and he was talking to his wife or whatever, you could kind of tell that she wasn't feeling it like that then. He kind of looked like something's off or whatever. And then when they went, I guess the person they were talking to at the adoption place, she can kind of basically tell like,
y'all not ready.
Yeah, y'all not on the same page. So she kind of looked and she was like, yeah, it's normal for one person to be more excited about it than the other or whatever. And then what did she say? She ended up saying something.
She ended up saying something along the lines of, because this is what he wants. Everything he wants is what he wants. Something like that.
And then she mentioned something about his father and how he was adopted or whatever and stuff, and that's what he's trying to do now. And then she just got up and walked out.
I think her frustration is he's seen where even where Randall's father had to make the choice to give him up, and somebody else came along. They raised him and gave him a good life to where he is now. Um, Even though he didn't have the opportunity to like know his biological father like that or his mother, um, it's kind of like, you know, they I guess in a way she's like he's trying to do something. I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to sound like harsh. Like he's trying to one up what his parents did or do the same thing. But I think it's just his way of like giving back to thank his parents that raised him, because he didn't have his biological parents to take him in. So he just wants to give another child a chance,
yeah.
like he had. But it's kind of like, she kept going, his wife keeps going back to the park where his father and her had time. And that's something we didn't know.
Is that why she was fake smoking? Yeah. Is that why she was fake smoking?
I think she was fake smoking because that's what she does when she's mad.
Okay, because when I saw her doing it, I couldn't tell it wasn't a cigarette. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know she's smoking. He was like, you fake smoking? And then he came over there and did it with her, right?
Put your cigarette down. That's probably what she wanted to say. Yeah. But then she was kind of like, no, we're not going to have to, we're not throwing down in this.
Well, yeah, because he tried to talk to her or whatever, and then he was just like, basically, you're going to have to accept what this is or whatever. Yeah. And she just looked at him. Black woman look. And then she was just like, walked off, and then, what's her name? I forget her name, but he called her, and then she was like, I love her. Oh my gosh, I love her. She was like, I am not about to throw down with you in an adoption parking lot. And walked off. He was like, dang, I done messed up.
Sleeping on the couch tonight, bro.
So then, what happened? He went to go. Oh, so we got to mention this part. We didn't mention this part. This is important. Who narrated the whole episode?
His father did.
Yeah, we didn't even say that. But it was the poems that he wrote to him.
Yeah.
When I guess before he ever really met him. Yeah, so that played a big part. And I know you said you wanted to watch it again to link everything together. Yes. Oh, let me say this before we go on. Last season, when it started, it was so many, because this is like one of those shows that you got to watch and pay every little detail to, because you got to link everything together. It was so much stuff that I didn't catch that this woman caught, so that's why I was like, all right, we gotta do reviews, and unfortunately we didn't get to do like reviews last season, so that's why you probably hear us referring back to last season at certain times and stuff too. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so basically he was narrating the whole entire episode with the poems and stuff. So you think that relates to what they're going through now?
I think so. I think the poems that he wrote, even though he wrote them back then for Randall, is going to apply into this season. So that's why I want to go back and just kind of listen, because I think I missed a couple of key things while he was narrating and talking. So I definitely want to watch it again.
And so, where did we leave? Oh, with Randall, and then he went to his mom.
Yeah.
So what did he go ask her?
Basically, why she, I think why they adopted him.
Or did he want to at first?
Oh, did she?
And he knew it was a bullcrap story, because he was like, or she said, I knew from the moment I saw you. He was like, okay, I know the same story or whatever. Like, really, what happened? And
Give me the real. He must know what really went on.
Exactly. And she was like, it's complicated. He was calling her out all the way. I was living for it. Yeah. He was like, that's what people say when they don't want to tell the truth. So she kind of looked like, all right, let me stop playing around telling the truth. So she basically told him that she didn't want to do it at first, but the father talked her into it or whatever. So then I guess it kind of made him look at his situation with his wife, where he's looking like, dang, I'm like my father, where I want to do it so bad, and she's like my mom, where she
didn't really want to.
Yeah. So then I think she said something about his father wasn't like perfect.
They didn't have the best marriage, but they made the best of it.
Yeah, and no marriage is perfect and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So, I guess having a heart-to-heart with his mother helped him to realize how he needed to take an approach to it, to where it was kind of like, okay, maybe I shouldn't push as much. And then that's when he said, you know, we're imperfectly perfect together. And, you know, he basically was telling her, you know, if you don't want to do this, I'm not going to make you do it.
But he told her, my mom said, ain't no such thing as no perfect marriage. That's what I disagree with. He said, we perfect. And I couldn't agree more. I love them together. I love them. I mean, they have their moments, but their communication is everything. And that is really important in a marriage, relationship, whatever. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to go talk to her.
Yeah, so having that, and remember last season he didn't want anything to do with his mother after he found out that she kept him away from his biological father. So for him to be like talking to her now and, you know, kind of calling her out on things, it's kind of like, Mom, I still love you, but you got to really start being real with me. You really have to start talking.
I ain't no little boy no more. Tell me the truth.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how much more stuff she held back from him. So
we're going to find out. You never know with this show. Everything come out.
Well.
So, then,
well, talking with his wife, when they went to the park, because she got the book that his father had wrote to him. She got that bound, like leather bound it and everything, and put in the, what you call it? The poems.
Okay.
She had that leather bound, and that's when she told him that that was the park that his father enjoyed going to. So that shows you that even though she wasn't crazy about having his father living with them,
they got very close.
Yes, they did. They got very close.
Because at first she didn't trust him at first like that. You didn't either.
No, I was like, I don't trust this dude. Nah. But then the more the story went on, it was like, okay. So now we're learning a little more about him. But and then while they were sitting in the park, one of the things that she thought of was, why should we start out with a brand new baby?
She was like, that could have been you or something.
Yeah, where she pointed that to the young boy that was sitting in the park with the other guys drinking.
Right.
And she was like, you know, that could have been you. So why not we get somebody that's a little older? And it could also be because they're getting a little older, you know. And it could be like, I don't really... Not to say that they don't want to start young, but it could be like, no, we can't do this again. Let's just help somebody else that's, you know, a young person that's older that may have lost their way. Let's see if we can help them, guide them to their way. So
that's gonna be tough, but
yeah,
they can do it.
Yeah, they're a pretty strong power couple. And then go ahead.
I was about to end it again.
Oh. Then it takes us to the transition of Rebecca and their father. What is his name? I don't really know the man's name. I can't remember it right now.
Wait, the
father.
Oh my gosh, he's at the tip of my tongue. Because he's like the best man ever.
We can't think about it.
Pearson. That's what
Rebecca and Pearson.
This is horrible.
It takes you back to where Rebecca was driving to the house, and she went to the door and she was talking to him, and she was like, you know, you need to come home, because remember they went and they talked to the kids to let them know that they had like broken up.
They were like, that hurt them so bad.
Yeah, they weren't happy at all about it. You know, they just kind of like walked out and.
Jack Pearson.
Rebecca and Jack. So they, you know, Rebecca went to go see Jack at Miguel's house, and you know, she told him that he needed to come home, that they were going to work things out, and that's when he told her then that he had an alcohol problem. He's had it for years. How he hid it from everyone, but then he was like, "This is something I had to do on my own," and he shut the door. And like a couple seconds later, you know, knock, knock, knock. And she's at the door, and she's like, no, you're coming with me because we're going to work on it. So even then, even though the marriage wasn't perfect and he had issues with alcohol and everything, she was still willing to work with him then.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love that.
You know, so it shows him getting in the car. They get in the car, and as they're driving, it's like it transitions. I think the transition happened so fast, I didn't really pick up on it, but you notice that she was then wearing like a Steelers shirt.
Okay.
She was in the car by herself, and right then at that point, I was like, oh, I said, they're probably going to show maybe how he died or something. They're all going up there and paying down to the seat, and she had like his belongings, his rings, his wallets and stuff in the seat. Then when she pulled up, because at some point in the episode, I can't remember, they were at their house, they showed their mailbox. And it said Pearson. So at the end, when she pulled back up in front of the house, they showed the mailbox again. It said Pearson, and then the burnt house. So now we gotta wait to find out, was he still having an alcohol issue to where he passed out, went to sleep, something electrical went wrong, and he never woke up to get out, or was he just that drunk that he ended up causing that fire in the house? But the good thing was that nobody else was home at the time. So.
Yeah, and then Kevin, it showed him as a teenager with like the cast or something.
Yeah, he ended up breaking, like he broke his leg or something. So that probably has something to do with. And one of the things you gotta pay attention to when they show fine details like that, like why would you pan down to the cast leg? Okay, so what exactly happened? How is it linked with them? So those are like the little fine details you want to pay attention to and check them out.
Right. And then I don't know who that girl was with Randall, the redhead girl.
Yeah. So we have to find out where she came from. And that's probably how Rebecca and Miguel ended up together.
Because he was living with him.
Yeah, it looked like they ended up, being at his house. So I'm thinking maybe they moved in with him.
The kids, too?
Well, it looked like it. At the end?
Yeah. You think the kids moved in?
They probably moved with Miguel because they didn't have nowhere else to move.
Oh, right.
So, only time will tell. I don't even know how many more episodes.
Crazy how it all linked together when, well, I guess it like flashback when he was like when Kevin was talking to Toby, he was like basically explaining how close him and Kate was, and he was saying how she was like the one who told him that father died. Then it showed them as kids with Kate, Randall, and whoever this red-haired girl is. I guess we'll find out later who she is. Where she was like, she looked at Randall, she was like, I have to tell Kevin. Or whatever. So.
Yeah, but fine details you gotta pay attention to.
I think that sums up basically the whole episode. So the next episode.
Season 2.
Of season 2. Let me see. I'm looking for the next episode. Oh, these are the characters. The next episode. Oh wait, that's season 1. I think 3. The next episode.
A Manny Splendor thing.
So this is gonna be focused on
Kevin,
right?
So that's
because he wasn't really focused on
So yeah, that's our first review of season 2.
This show is so good.
This is us.
I love it. It is so good and it's so well written. It is hard to me to write a show and keep it going, to keep my interest and stuff, because I don't know.
It's gotta have a good. The thing is, it's gotta have a good storyline.
And the way you write it, it's all about how you write it, and the way they write it, it keeps you wanting to know what's gonna happen next. Because somebody can tell you, oh yeah, they adopted this child or whatever, and then the father died, and then the real father came along, and boom, 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 boom. But no, it's the way it's written that makes it so interesting or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of How to Get Away with Murder. That show is written so well. I know you don't watch that show, but that's one of my favorite shows. It's written so well.
So well. All right, so that concludes the end. That concludes the end.
The end of season. The end of our review for season 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
Of Fathers.
I'm Takiera, and this is Tia signing off.
I'm Takiera. Bye. See you for season I mean, episode 2
of
next week.
season 2 next week.
Bye.